Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
This episode is brought to you by CBS. DMV is a brand new workplace comedy turning misery into magic and chaos into comedy. Starring Harriet Dyer and Tim Meadows, DMV is here to serve you laughs. Watch Mondays at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, the protests are heating up around the country, and that is why many people are deeply concerned about the potential for a Zoran Mamdani mayorship in New York. That is a big deal. Should he become mayor? Boy, oh boy. Not only is New York in trouble, but America's in trouble. And just recently, there he was embracing the, imam who was essentially defending 9/11 and supporting those tied to the World Trade Center attacks in 1993. I mean, who would be hanging out with that guy and who would be saying, oh, that's a pretty good person? I don't think so. And that is the reality, guys. Boy, oh boy, is the world upside down. But yet there is so much at stake. And Curtis Sliwa tonight saying that he is not going anywhere in the race. Let's see what happens in the debate, and let's see if something changes, because there's certainly enough people, including many Republicans now, saying it is time to get out of the race, Curtis, to save New York City. And many people have been calling that for weeks. Maybe he's seeing something different in the polls. Maybe he's thinking he can do something dramatic in the next debate. Maybe he's just buying time and will ultimately drop out. But even John Catsimatidis saying, for the good of New York City, I am urging you to drop out of the race just to be able to have a winning chance to beat Zoran Mamdani. What do you think, guys? And where is this headed? Because now it's about 2 weeks till Election Day, and that is not a lot of time. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And meantime, as I mentioned, so many protests taking place around the country and around New York City, all over the country over the weekend. There are like 2,500 different of these No Kings protests. And at one of them, we saw Ken Martin, who is the chair of the Democratic National Committee. And of course, what did he talk about? Trump derangement syndrome. Trump. Take a listen.
249 years ago, proud patriots in this country stood up and said, we are going to build a democracy, a country that's for the people, by the people, of the people, and we will not bow down to any monarch. And here we are now, 249 years later, with that orange monster in the White House, expecting people in this country to bend a knee, to bow down, to kiss his ring, and to kiss his ass, and we say, hell no!
Orange monster. I mean, can't they come up with new material? Well, here is House Speaker Mike Johnson pointing out some pretty clear facts why Trump is not a king.
Politics. The politics were on full display. The politics, the spectacle, is what the mobs, the crowds, the rallies this week were all about. It was quite ironic, though. The irony was very glaring. They called it the No Kings rally, but the great irony, of course, that we pointed out over and over was if President Trump was a king, the government would be open. If President Trump was a king, he would have closed the national parks and the National Mall, so they couldn't have had the rally out here.
It's a very good point. And you know what's so crazy? There were no Kings rallies taking place in London where they have a king. So I would say these people don't even know what they're protesting. They're just protesting for the sake of protesting. There were even some pro-Hamas protesters in the group, which is really wonderful because I'm being facetious, of course, because there are now Hamas members who are slaughtering Palestinians in Gaza, which is horrible. So why isn't the world intervening? Why aren't they protesting against Hamas like they should have been all along? They're not saying anything about that. Some of them are actually supporting Hamas. Are you kidding me? These people are truly, I believe, paid by a whole bunch of different folks, and we got to get to the bottom of where that is all about. And that's why it's dangerous to have a very radical, extreme mayor in a major city where there's often a lot of protests. And speaking of New York, guys, just a little bit ago, Dan Goldman, who is the congressman there from New York, boy, oh boy, he and a couple others held an anti-ICE press conference, essentially. And in it, they called on the NYPD to intervene against ICE, not saying that these protesters are the enemy, maybe some even accused of murder and rape and some very serious crimes. No, Dan Goldman and some others at this press conference today, again, it's like Alice in Wonderland, the world is upside down. They're saying it's ICE that are the bad folks. Take a listen to what Dan Goldman had to say just a little bit ago.
We cannot tolerate masked agents. This is not a country that condones the KKK. That is what we associate masked individuals abducting people, violently assaulting people. That is not who we are in this country. We are a country of immigrants. If you have committed a crime, you should be deported. But over 70% of the people who are arrested in here have no criminal record. This is outrageous lawlessness that is a dragnet sweeping up U.S. citizens, including children. We cannot tolerate that. We will not stand for that. And the NYPD must not stand for that either.
That's incredible. So he's saying New York City police get involved and arrest ICE. And this is coming from a number of supporters, by the way, of Zoran Mamdani. And at that same press conference was Brad Lander. There's many people believing that he would probably be one of the deputy mayors, because you can have a couple different deputy mayors, you know, for different philosophies and policies. But he might be his right-hand main deputy mayor if Zoran Mamdani gets elected. This guy has been involved in a number of these anti-ICE protests, including at an ICE facility in downtown New York City. Remember, Zoran Mamdani's been involved in a few, too, of course. Let's not forget that. And here is Brad Lander at that press conference. This is the guy who likely will be the number 2 to Zoran Mamdani. And he makes it sound like ICE is just coming in to big cities like New York and swooping people off the street for absolutely no reason.
If I had said to you a year ago, what would happen right now if an individual wearing a mask, not in a law enforcement uniform or wearing a badge or identifying themselves, but just wearing a mask, rolled up here and grabbed one of you without presenting a judicial warrant, without identifying themselves, what should happen? I think almost any of you would have said a year ago, well, obviously, the NYPD should prevent that kidnapping from happening, should arrest the person executing that lawless abduction, should protect the individual in question, and should explore, yes, whether that's a kidnapping and the person should be arrested and held accountable. And I'll be honest, I don't even think it would have been that contentious. I really think everyone, especially if I said, what if it's almost always people of color? What if it's with, no particular warning or identification? Everyone would have said, that's why we have police officers, is to protect kidnappings by masked thugs who don't identify themselves and who would try to grab people and haul them away. That's what the rule of law looks like. That's one of the main reasons we have NYPD officers. And I just think everyone would have said, that's how we do it.
That's an extraordinary statement. What a reckless comment. And that guy is the comptroller of New York City and likely to be the number 2 to Zoran Mamdani. Boy, is New York City in trouble with a guy like this. This is disastrous, guys. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Norm in Brooklyn, line 4. Go ahead, Norm.
Hi, Rita. Okay, first I just want to put this out there. The No Kings rally in Manhattan, ABC News TV gave the number at 100,000. I ran rallies for 5 years. I am or was a professional conservative activist, and I can just tell you that that rally in Manhattan had no more than 4,000 or 5,000 people there. So
well, that's by the way, that's a big difference in the number. And you know what? They also at one point, you probably heard this, Norm. They made it sound like there were like 6-7 million across the country, and then it got reduced to like maybe it was 600,000 to 800,000. I'm talking across the country.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's a big difference. That's a big difference.
Mandani. Basically, I'm sorry, Curtis, you have to get out. Listen to Mr. Katzmatidis. Unless a miracle happens, as Dominic Carter says, a dollar in a dream. It ain't going to happen. But, if I wake up on Friday and his numbers are at 55% or something, Curtis, I'll say, okay, God has moved in, God has stepped in. But if the things basically hold, I live in the real world. I don't deal in magical thinking, okay? I'm a conservative. I've given Curtis money in the past, not that long ago. But I'm sorry, it's over. It's the realities of this ugly city that we live in. And unfortunately, Andrew Cuomo, I believe, is the best that we can do. So, I'm voting for Andrew, and I'm going to support Andrew, and that's it, because we can't have a socialist, Jew-hating, supporter of 9/11 as our mayor. And
isn't that by the way, Norm? Isn't that an incredible comment? Because you're spot on with what you just said. And did you ever think that would be the top ticket choice? I mean, even in liberal New York, that stuns me.
Stunning. Most of my clients, I will tell you, Rita, I only have one that I would say is going to vote for Zoran. That's it. And
oh my goodness,
the rest of them, I mean, we're talking. Yeah, I have one that I'm pretty sure is, because she's just a radical and I would never discuss politics with her. But the majority of my clients are all Trump-hating Democrats. They're all going to vote for Andrew Cuomo. I mean, I think, only crazy people are going to vote for Zoran Mamdani. I mean, only crazy people, only like blue-haired, the kinds of people that were at the rally. Blue-haired lunatics.
And there may be young people, Norm, there may be young people too, because there's a lot of young people that hear free, free, free. And again, that's why I keep saying, he keeps touting this totally unrealistic, but it's dangerous. I think a lot of those people, some may agree with him, but I actually think that there's a number of other ones who don't agree with some of the dangerous comments that he's made. And I think if they knew that he was embracing a lot of 9/11 supporters, if you will, I think they'd be shocked. I think a lot of them still, as much as we know the details about even his father espousing, supporting suicide bombers, saying we have to have sympathy for them. There's a lot of things that are ingrained in this guy. And I actually think, often, Norm, before the election, people try to tame things down. He's trying to be very crafty with his words. I think it's going to be 20 times worse if he were to get elected. And that's and it's bad enough.
I agree.
And that's scary, don't you think? I think he's trying to be really careful, but he still slides in every now and then intifada or occupation. You still hear these words of hate slip in, because he doesn't want to not slam Israel every chance he has.
He's good at BSing.
He's very good. He's got an A+ in BSing, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to stick around for this, Rita. I mean, I'm a homeowner, and I don't want to stick around for this. My mother left Austria in 1939, okay? and she loved Austria. And, my family were there for like 1,000 years, okay? I mean, they were there, many hundreds of years.
Norm,
anyway,
my father left Poland, with a Nazi gun pointed at his head in a boxcar in 1944.
Yeah. I never thought I would have to say this, but, it looks like, I'm going to have to get out of here, and I've been thinking about this for just a variety of reasons, but it's just, I can't watch it die like this. I just can't, and here's just a little thing I've noticed. All movements led by the youth movements are frightening. All movements run by young people under 30, forget it.
Wait a minute, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk had a movement mostly led by young people, and that was the difference.
Yeah, and you see where that got him.
Right, but his mission was definitely a very noble and a positive one about family and faith, Right.
Political movements, I don't know. I've just seen so many youth movements. I mean, listen, of course I think of Hitler Youth and things. I mean, I think of, young people are passionate, but that passionate can be very dangerous. And, and right now these young people that are supporting Zoran, they just don't know what they're playing with.
No, they don't. Well, they're the same, like you just said. A lot of them are some of the same that are out there in the No Kings rallies. I mean, there were older people this weekend, but the young people that are sort of just generically protesting, you're right, they have no idea the dangers that this guy could pose. 1-800-848-9222. We'll continue your calls, guys, after the break.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The following is a paid political announcement.
Lifelong Democrat Diana Florence served for 25 years as a Manhattan prosecutor under DA Robert Morgenthau. She put criminals away, stood up for victims, and protected our streets. Now, Diana is challenging failed Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as an independent because it's time for a DA who fights for our families, not criminals. That's why Diana has won the support of organized labor like the steamfitters, plumbers, and ironworkers, everyday New Yorkers who want a DA they can trust. Manhattan needs a DA who will do the job, prosecute crime. That's Diana Florence. Under Alvin Bragg, crime is up and prosecutions are down. Bragg doesn't prosecute crime. He plays partisan politics. Bragg failed to protect women and failed to protect workers. As a prosecutor, Diana Florence won groundbreaking convictions, fighting against corruption, domestic violence, wage left, and deadly working conditions. She's always been a partner of unions, community groups, and to cops like us. For Manhattan District Attorney, vote for Diana Florence. Diana4DA.com. Paid for by Diana for Manhattan DA.
Hi, I'm Jim. I'm not an actor, just a guy living with prostate cancer. My wife and I face each day head on. We asked my doctor about Xtandi enzalutamide.
Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache.
Visit Xtandi.com to watch my story.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight? Aha! Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at Canva.com.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue with your calls tonight. Boy, so many questions and so much at stake. Let's go to Mary in Manhattan. Mary, you're here on the Rita Cosby Show on line 5.
Hi, Rita. Remember when Hillary beat Trump at the time in 2016?
I sure do. I was one of the few people who thought Trump would win.
Right. Well, the polls also said he wouldn't. And how about when Cuomo won his primary in June? Well, the polls said he would win. So I wish everyone would back off of Curtis, except his supporters. Sorry, Norm. His real supporters want him to stay. They want him to run.
What if it, Mary, let me just ask you, and that's why I haven't said somebody drop out. I feel someone does. I don't call people by names. What if it means Mandani winning by him staying in? What do you say then?
It's not going to be Curtis's fault. It's going to be the fault of all of the people who...
Well, it'll be someone's fault.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Oh, the sick day struggle is real. But with Dimetapp, it doesn't have to be. Children's Dimetapp works quickly to soothe multiple bothersome cough, cold, and allergy symptoms in a single dose. Our fast-acting formulas are designed with kids in mind, so they get everything they need and nothing they don't. Available in liquid and on-the-go chewable tablets. Tap the banner now to shop at Amazon and say goodbye to the sick day struggle with Dimetapp. Use as directed.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
A message from McAfee. Wondering why the post office is texting you or why you owe thousands of dollars in toll fees? Because someone's trying to scam you. The good news? McAfee can help. With McAfee's award-winning scam detection, it's easy to tell what's real and what's fake over text, in your inbox, and online. If they're
You want a free gift.
Seriously? If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
Rita Cosby is on.
Well, boy, is there a lot at stake if Zoran Mamdani becomes mayor. So everyone's asking tonight, what needs to happen in the race? And more pollsters and more political experts are saying Curtis Sliwa should drop out because he is number 3 handily, at least in all the polls we've seen. Barring some October surprise or something happens, it would certainly be powerful if that were to happen before this debate. The last debate, he didn't really take it to Mandani, and he should have. He really should have taken it. Curtis is a great debater. He absolutely should have taken it to Mandani, but he was all focused on Cuomo. And meanwhile, Mandani's sitting there, feeding grapes to himself. I'm being metaphorical, but he really had an easy debate. And I expect that will be the case later this week. And this guy is absolutely an extreme danger to New York. I'm talking about Zoran Mamdani. Listen to what he said in the last debate last week when he was asked, when are you going to send a social worker versus a cop? And for the most part, he wants to send social workers versus qualified law enforcement officials like police officers, even into dangerous situations. This is not even the anti-Semitic comments. This is not even his coddling of people that you could consider pro-terrorist. Oh, boy. Listen to this one.
How will you determine whether there is a concern for safety or violence? What is the line between the calls in which police will be dispatched and the calls to which social workers will be dispatched?
The line is also going to be one focused on violence and the threat of violence. And I also trust the operators who will be receiving those calls to make that determination as they do every day today for so many emergency services.
And just two really quick points, please. There has been a lot of discussion that you would send social workers to domestic violence calls, which police are concerned about. So you're saying no. Okay. And then the other question is, how can you be sure that a situation that does not sound violent when someone calls 911 does not become violent in the moment? Would police be assigned as backup?
I think what you do is you actually follow the experts that have shown us this can work when you're willing to ensure that you're trusting the mental health experts who have been doing this work elsewhere in the country, where they call for the police when they need the police, but their initial impulse when there's no violence in that call is to actually address the mental health at the heart of it.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa, you have encountered plenty of these types of situations in your decades of work with the Guardian Angels. So do you see this approach working? You're not a police officer, but you've helped out in situations.
Zoran. Boy, another fantasy that's not reality. Eugene, Oregon. Have you ever been to Eugene? I've been to Eugene. Come on, this is New York City. We have so many emotionally disturbed persons that are in need of help. I will tell you this, Andrew, you closed the mental health beds that were taking care of them. 40,000 when you came into office, down to 4,000 because of your cuts, which forced these people to live in the streets, in the parks, and the subways. These people need to be removed. They need mental health care. We need to make our shelters safe. I've been in 1/3 of the 300 shelters run by the Department of Homeless Services. It's Darwinian there, survival of the fittest. If we can make our shelter system safe, we can get men and women who are homeless in there, especially veterans who we're not giving any attention to, who we put out in Ward's Island at 10 o'clock at night, release during the day, don't give any training, have them roam about, and obviously, when you have nothing to do, you end up getting into trouble. Okay. This is a disastrous, homeless and emotionally disturbed plan that we have in New York City, and I'm the mayor that can change it because I deal with them every day in the streets, in the parks, and the subways.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo, do you think that the NYPD handles these calls for emotionally disturbed people in distress well? Is there room for something in the middle?
Yeah, I think the Assemblyman deals in theory. There's an advantage when you actually have experience. I've run homeless programs. I ran the homeless programs for the federal government. I worked with cities all across the nation. When you get a call on a telephone about a mentally ill person who may be violent, it is a very dangerous situation. And I think you should have a mental health worker accompanied with a police officer, because these can be explosive situations. I have been in situations that seemed apparently calm and fine and then erupted into violence very quickly, and it got very dangerous very quickly. So I would have a social worker with a police officer and get the people off the streets. That's the humane thing, and get them the care they need, not institutionalize 40,000 people again. We have supportive housing now, which is what we use, and forensic beds for people who need them.
Now, let me get this straight. A police officer is there first. He has to wait for the arrival of a mental health care worker.
No, I would send them as a team.
As a team. But that's not realistic. You're dealing with fantasy
Okay.
also.
All right.
The police officers are going to be the first one on the scene.
Okay.
And they're always
Mr.
going to have
Sliwa.
to deal with it first and foremost.
Mr. Cuomo says that he has experience running homeless programs. What he has experience doing is cutting funding for the very programs that prevented homelessness here in New York City. As the governor, he cut funding for the Advantage program, which was putting New Yorkers who had otherwise been in shelters, otherwise been homeless, into apartments. I met one of those New Yorkers.
Mr. Cuomo,
She told me how that pushed her out on the
Thank you,
street.
Mr. Mamdani. Brief response, Mr.
He's
Cuomo.
talking about a program 14 years ago that was a pilot program that had a work requirement. It was very controversial. It was $65 million.
You're talking about Advantage, just so we know
the
what you're
Advantage
talking
program.
about? Okay.
It was 14 years ago, $65 million. I added billions to the homeless budget. Funded the homeless budget larger than any governor in history.
Okay.
He
okay,
cut
thank
that
you. We want to talk
program.
about
He
all right.
cut that
Mr.
program.
Mamdani,
Homelessness skyrocketed
Mr.
after
Mamdani,
It
we
did
have
not.
aired
It was
this
14 years ago.
Wow, wow, wow. And there is the final debate. There's only two, and that will be on Wednesday. You know, we'll be talking about it Wednesday night. Boy, oh boy. Get your popcorn for that one, guys. 1-800-848-9222. Could there be any big surprise? Could somebody drop out also and then have it be one-on-one against Zoran Mamdani? That is the only way. Every single pollster I have seen has said that Zoran Mamdani can be defeated. And having him as mayor would destroy New York. The stakes are so high. Let's go to Stan in Forest Hills on line 1. Stan, your thoughts tonight?
Let me respond to the woman and the guy Jay, the Republicans who called up this station. Let me tell you something, folks, those two people.
By the way, it's not just Republicans, who call the
No,
station. We have a lot of people.
He made a statement stating that he was going to bail out us, the Democrats. Let me tell you something, pal. We don't need to be bailed out. Your party has nothing. It had nothing for the last 10 years. It had nobody then, and it has nobody now. Where the hell have the Republicans been? They've been nowhere to be seen.
Wait a minute. Wait, Stan. Hold on.
There is no
Wait,
Republicans
hang on.
in New York.
Stan, you're talking about in New York or across the country?
New York City. The Republicans have been nowhere. I mean, if the best they can do is come up with the mouthpiece on WABC, they're in trouble. And here's the major point. And this is what really is about.
And listen, Stan, also,
wait,
hold on. No, hold on one second, because you just,
go ahead.
Curtis also, he has been a part of the Guardian Angels. He's done a lot of things to work in the city.
Look.
I mean, you got somebody who's looking to save the city, and you got somebody looking to destroy the city.
You're absolutely correct, except for one thing. Curtis Sliwa hates Andrew Cuomo worse than he hates Mandani. He's hated him for 15 to 20 years. There's been a vendetta against him, and that's why he isn't getting out. He'd rather stay in and see the city go down than do it. He's not going to go out because he hates him worse. I see it. That's what it is. And if he didn't, he would have gone out. Anybody else in their right mind, Rita, would go out. You even said it. We're going to lose. And you know what? This city will become Gaza. Sorry to say it, but it sounds
Oh,
like
boy, Stan, you know what? I hate to say it.
Am I right?
I agree that it will look like Gaza. It'll look like
Remember that
It'll
line,
look like Gaza on a bad day, and that's why Stan. By the way, that's why I have repeatedly said that this guy should be running for mayor of Gaza. I mean, his philosophy is so extreme, and it's frightening, and that's why the stakes are so high, and that's why even if you have a 50-year grudge, you got to get past it for the good of the city.
He's not going to get past it, Rita, with all respect. If you can talk to him, you're on this. Tell him. That's what it's about. It ain't about Mandani. It's about Cuomo. He hates his guts. They've hated each other for 20 years. That vendettas like the Hatfields and the McCoys. You know what they were out. And so if somebody could talk to him, and here's the thing, maybe Andrew Cuomo could say to him, look, let's talk, blah, 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 blah. That may happen. Who knows? But at the end, if he goes to that debate, it's over. And you even said it. I'm going with you. I agree with you. He has to get out now. Maybe you can talk to him. Rita Cosby, you can talk. Get him on the side in the station and say, hey, this is not going well.
Well, and I know a number of people who have, Stan. I mean, Well, Stan, let me just tell you, the reality is, and I think you hit it on the head. And listen, I also think people, when they're in the race, they think, oh gosh, maybe I could do one more thing. I wish he had. I'll be honest. I wish he had done some sort of knockout punch in the last debate.
Cuomo too. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Right. He spent his time focused on Cuomo as opposed to focused on Mandani.
Yeah,
I mean, Mandani is the clear and present danger, and
absolutely,
it might have had an effect in the polls too. It might have. That's why,
Rita.
like, there have been people to say drop out to him for a long time. I haven't been one of them because I said at first, let's see if something shakes out, if there's some dramatic moment.
One last thing, and this is it. Throw out the rule book, Andrew, or if you're going to be there with Curtis, throw it out. The hell with the moderator. Say to him, stay out of our way. We're going to talk, just the three of us. That's it. Forget about the rules on this next one, on New York 1. That's where it is. The moderator's a good guy. But the hell with him. You got to go after this guy, no rules, and tell him off and get to him. That's the rules will hurt both of them. You know it, and it's hurting them now.
Absolutely. And last time, the moderators definitely marginalized Curtis.
Yeah.
Curtis didn't help because he kept agreeing with Mandani, or Mandani agreed with him.
After him. Throw out the book. Like you said it yourself.
Yep.
Throw out the rule book. The hell with the moderator. You're in my way.
Exactly. Throw out the rule book and say,
you're in
listen.
my way. Get the hell out of here.
Yes, and say New York is at stake. New York is at stake.
It's gunfight at the OK Corral.
It is. That's why I hope it happens, Stan. I hope it happens. High noon. Stan, you're great. Let's talk on debate night. I can't wait to hear what you think. Boy, oh boy, guys. Let's go to Pete in New Jersey. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Rita, how you doing?
I'm good, but I am really troubled by what's going on in New York, and it's 2 weeks, and the polls are not looking good. You got this Mandani guy who I do believe should be running for mayor of Gaza versus mayor of New York.
But the thing is, there's a lot of crazy lefty people, because over the weekend I observed that supposedly no king rally, and it was not a no king rally. It was an anti-Trump rally. And I lost a lot of respect for some people in the entertainment business that went online. I'll just give you an example. Robert De Niro called out Donald Trump as a dictator, and he also called Steve Miller a Nazi.
Yep, hold on. In fact, hold on, Pete, hold on. I want to play it because here he is, just to your point, Robert De Niro calling Steve Miller a Nazi. I want everybody to hear it. The actor, Robert De Niro.
He will not. We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his. I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet. Stephen Miller. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
That's despicable, Pete. Goebbels is who he meant. He said Goebbels. He didn't even know the name. But he's talking about Goebbels. I mean, what a horrible, that's the guy who's doing the experiments, on people in camps and ordering the executions. I mean, that is really disgusting. But you're right. There is such a hatred. And then couple that with what we're talking about, just the fanaticism going on in this country. I mean, Pete, you hit it on the head. This is a very, very concerning time in America. And there's a lot of horrible vitriol. And you got to have people who are moderate, who can work together, as opposed to inciting. And that's really concerning. I'm glad, though, you brought it up because we do need to talk about that. Let's go to John in Colorado real quick on line 4. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hey, Rita. I just wanted to mention, I don't know how people like Mandani can even be eligible to run for office. And then Cuomo, he's a seasoned career politician with a lot of baggage and bad decisions. And Curtis, he's done a lot for the city. He's not a career politician or ever been in any trouble. And I really think New Yorkers should look at this election as, hey, we're all New Yorkers. If you're a Republican, a Democrat, you people better get together and get the best candidate in there, or you're just going to have more years of this crap you've been going through.
Yeah,
and I think everybody
by the way,
should vote.
You are
Curtis.
correct. You are correct. They should all bandy together to pick whoever the best one is. And nobody's perfect. There's no question on the, in the batch. Everybody's got their issues or whatever. But pick the person who cares the most about the city. Pick the person who's going to be able to do the most difference. But also, the reality is also pick the person who can beat Mandani. And I've never said this before for a candidate, like to go into the voting booth, pick who you think will beat someone who many people believe is a terrorist sympathizer. That's what it comes down to. Anything that can avoid that individual from being mayor, that's how high the stakes are, John. This is not, oh, I hope, I wish, there are a lot of candidates that I wish were in the race that are not in the race, that I think are a lot more qualified than any of those there. And have, less issues or whatever. They're not in the race. These are the ones we have. So you have to make the best choice out of that, but also pick the one who can win too. So it has to be the combination. And it's a mess. It is a mess. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And now to our Support Our Heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from Summerville, South Carolina, where the Bronze Star Medal is awarded to service members for heroic or meritorious service in a combat zone. And it is a big deal, especially for 99-year-old World War II Army Lieutenant Bill Crook, who was honored with the United States' fourth highest individual military award just a few days ago. He was honored for his acts of heroism in Europe during World War II. And just to give you a little background, he joined the Army 3 days after the landings in Normandy in June 1944. He was assigned as a combat infantryman in the 10th Armored Division. And Crook explained that this type of gratitude is not needed for this honor, but it is certainly appreciated in the honor also of so many of his fellow comrades. By the way, he also served in the Korean conflict, and bravo to him. And of course, all of our great, great veterans. And everybody help America to never, ever forget. Donate $11 a month to the great Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Be sure to check them out at T2T.org, T2T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is the ultimate all-out warfare experience. Rip through the skies in aerial dogfights. Demolish your surroundings for a strategic advantage. Harness complete control over every action and movement using the kinesthetic combat system. Drop into multiplayer with your squad, or fight furiously as a member of the Dagger 1-3 squad in a gritty, adrenaline-fueled single-player campaign where you'll defend a world on the edge of collapse.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to your calls. By the way, you guys, I always read your comments on Twitter. I want to read a comment from Sal, sending it to @Rita Cosby on X. Rita, it's not only Mandani's dangerous policies to be worried about, but Governor Hochul will probably be too politically frightened to stop him from doing economic and legislative damage to New York City. So right, Sal. It is also Hochul who has said she's endorsing him already. And let's not forget the city council in New York, which is weaker than weak and agreeing with Mandani. That is a disastrous trifecta. Let's go to Carly in Long Island. Carly, you're here on the Rita Cosby Show. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, I'm a younger caller. I'm 26. I just feel that there's not a lot of politicians who are focused on like young people.
Are you a Mandani supporter, Carly, or not?
Yeah, I would say so.
You are? Oh my God, Carly! How could Carly? We just went through the litany of the things this guy supports. Anti-Israel.
It's all like theater. It's all dog and pony show.
It's
How
actually,
much of that?
Carly, it's actually not. Why don't you just read his own texts, his own tweets, I should say, his own words. Carly, I want you to call back tomorrow night because we got a heart out. I want to talk tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?